Let's go!
The big news, long story short, for anyone that isn't in the know, let me bring up the historical documents. Why is this page bright white? What in the hell is going on? You know what? Here, let me actually go to the EVO Twitter. I am being blinded by this. Here's something that's a bit better and more, maybe a bit more legible to my brain. So this is from EVO. Long story short, they had a huge adjustment to their entire business and practice. There was a complete shift in management after some information came out that was definitely unsettling, and different people have been put in association with what they're doing. So long story short, we were already assuming that EVO was going to get rebranded in some way going forward if EVO was to come back in some way. And my assumption is that it was going to be called Revo for like Revolution or, you know, something along those lines. But never did I expect that Sony was just going to come out right and be like, yo, we're going to buy the whole thing. Now, I will say before I read any of this stuff out loud and more stuff that has sort of come to light over the past 24 hours, my first instinctual guttural response, only Sony games at Sony EVO. First thing, Smash is out. Second thing, KI is out. Anything else that's potentially multi-platform, right, could potentially run into problems. That is immediately where my brain goes, and where I think a lot of people hearing of a Sony acquisition of the EVO tournament series would probably go to. But I think we can learn a lot from what is being said throughout all this stuff. So let's like start at the top and then go from there. And let's read the fluff. EVO would not be possible without a collective passion and collaboration of the fighting game community, and we're deeply grateful for your dedication over 25 years. We know that this year was challenging due to the pandemic and our circumstances surrounding the cancellation of EVO Online involving a former team member who is separated from the company, and we want to reaffirm that harassment or abuse of any kind has no place within EVO or any future events. And we're taking every precaution to make sure members of our community will always be treated with respect, dignity, decency you deserve. Actually, that wasn't fluff. That was all extremely appropriate and very necessary. So good. In order to deliver on the trust you have to put in EVO, we realize that we need an experienced strategic partner who truly respects the spirit of the fighting game community. This is why we're excited to announce that EVO has become part of joint partnership with Sony Interactive Entertainment. That's a funny sentence. Number one, that's a very that is the epitome of, like, somebody posted a link of it on Twitter. You know that scene from Wayne's World in the first one when a company comes out and buys Wayne's World and they're like, all right, let's get the show started, and they're about to have their intro and some guy's like, yeah, Wayne's World, well, Wayne's World, party time, excellent, and Wayne and Garth are like, well, and there's some guy announcer, party on Wayne and party on Garth, Wayne's World. They're like, wow, okay, hi, party on Garth. It very much comes across as like a little bit like that, like a little bit. But you know what? I digress. Maybe not. Maybe they will have a full and complete understanding of the situation going forward. The new partnership is committed to bringing amazing tournaments and competitive gaming experiences back to you this year and beyond. This is actually kind of questioning to me if this is going to involve things that are outside of fighting games. For anyone that isn't aware, EVO has had a history of video game competition that does not only scale with fighting games, right? Like there is, for anyone that isn't aware, the second EVO I went to, they had a Mario Kart DS tournament, like, and that was in association with the Toyota Yaris. Even if this does expand to things that are outside of fighting games, that's actually not anything new. We're thrilled to work with the teams at PlayStation and RTS. I have to see what this exactly stands for, to bring you EVO 2021 online this year. More information of the event will follow. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Continue to support and continued support Tom and Tony Cannon. And for anyone that's unaware, Tom and Tony have been the absolute grandfathers of the EVO tournament ever since it was Battle by the Bay in the early 2000s, if not maybe a little bit before. So there is another article bill that is here and is extremely hard to read. Wow, it is on a white background and it is aggressive on the human eyes. We're thrilled to announce the next chapter of the story of the PlayStation EVO, the world's largest running fighting game tournament. Sony Interactive Entertainment has teamed up with RTS to acquire EVO in a joint venture partnership. That's specific. With expertise spanning esports event management, brand and developer consulting, and gaming talent management, RTS is a new venture led by Stuart Saw and backed by investors including global entertainment, sports, and content company Endeavor. Okay, just based on that, right? It sounds like RTS is essentially a biz dev company sort of focused around esports. And what this really comes across to me is that this was like a business deal. This sort of comes across as there's probably some back-end stuff that this is relevant to in terms of EVO, simply because there was already individuals that are no longer involved with EVO that are now not working there anymore. They clearly had to replace and suffice those elements and then expand in some way, right? RTS is a weird name for the company, right? Because I'm thinking real-time strategy. This comes across as a bit different to me than like Microsoft bought Bethesda. Most of Bethesda stuff's going to be on Game Pass now, right? This comes across as a bit differently. EVO co-founders remain closely involved as an advisory role to ensure EVO continues to service the fighting game community and support its vibrant growth. And the partnership marks a new collaboration, bringing together resources and expertise that allow us to elevate the global reach, scale, and fan engagement surrounding this iconic marketing and advertising. 100%, this means marketing and advertising. Comes across as absolutely biz dev sort of stuff. So, and the games that are announced so far were T7, Street Fighter V, MK11, and Arc System Works in an open format. The qualifiers will be live streamed on EVO GG, but there is more games. I think there is more games that are going to be involved. And here's the most important part. Tekken 7 is actually being held on PC. It's not on PlayStation hardware. It's also very interesting that the same people that are running EVO are still running EVO, right? That's also pretty big. That means that a lot of the management of how the event is coordinated, what games might be running, things like that are not changing. Probably one of the most concerning things when you first hear Sony bought EVO, it's like, wait, what? Huh? Does this mean PlayStation All-Stars 2 is coming out? EVO is open to all platforms still. We are running Tekken 7 on PC, allowing PC crossplay for other titles. Here's the good news, is that this inherently is coming across as a deal on back end, right? Like, for example, this is the equivalent of your video game, right? For example, if you like a fighting game, you're worried about the devs saying, hey, we made a big deal for our fighting game that's really maybe not going to affect you a whole bunch, but will actually be really important for the game. Like, they're changing engines, right? Like, hey, we're actually changing engines to make the future of the game better. This will take a lot of work and it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of money, but trust us, it'll be worth it in the long run. It's kind of like that. Like, if your video game switched engines that it was running on, that's essentially what's happening to EVO right now. EVO's flipping how its sort of operation is working. Does that mean that sometime in the future Sony can't interlude and be like, hey, you know, maybe you should only run PlayStation games? I mean, I don't know the exclusivity of this deal at all, but considering what Mark is saying and what they have been specifically saying regarding other games, it definitely makes it seem like it's not getting rebooted as a Sony branded specific sort of Sony event. It's staying open. It's going to have games on multiple platforms. It's just that conveniently, right? Obviously, conveniently, every single game that has been announced so far is available on a next generation or previous generation Sony platform, at least in the online format that they are currently trying to, you know, uphold. You also have to think of like the future of EVO going forward is, how are the live events going to be? Is Smash Brothers still going to be part of a live event? Should Smash Brothers be a part of a Sony online event? I have the answer for you right now. It's no. It's absolutely no. I have the answer for you should Samurai Showdown or games like Soul Calibur even be included in some of those things because of their online issues. Probably not. I'm kind of surprised, considering this is online and to get people's goodwill, that Skullgirls and Killer Instinct, specifically games that have two very big online communities, as well as other indie games like Them's Fighting Herds and things like that, aren't inherently included in this announcement because they were already a part of last year's online EVO announcement before shit hit the fan. I think for me personally, the moment that this sort of gets alleviated and I can have a big sigh of relief that, oh, it is still essentially run by, coordinated, and will be a part of the same EVO tournament experience and games that we know from, you know, decades past. When games like that are involved, right? When suddenly the games that have really good online and netcode and the reason they were chosen for online EVO before are involved. But right now, it seems pretty clear that they are targeting games that have functional online. I don't know how they're going to do Tekken 7. I don't know how this is going to be a worldwide tournament with this game. I don't know what the hell they're going to do. Much less Street Fighter 5. I don't know what the hell is going to go on, but I'm pretty sure MK11 and Guilty Gear Strive is going to do just fine in a big tournament format. Oh, it's already not. They're already not doing that. Okay. So did they actually go into it being regional later? Well, that makes perfect freaking sense. I think it actually comes down to how much Nintendo or Microsoft would want to play ball, you know? Maybe, for example, in a situation where Sony is essentially an executive-run EVO tournament, there might be a moment where it's like, hey, we're doing EVO, what, 2022? I don't know. And they're like, hey, would you like to, we want Smash to be a part of EVO 2022. We want KI to be a part of EVO 2022, getting Microsoft and Nintendo involved. Nintendo did release a note. Nintendo said they'll assess. Uh-oh, that's weird. Wait, what? I need to read this Nintendo note. Yo, what? So this is the part that I was literally just talking about. I think EVO would absolutely love to have Smash Brothers, obviously one of the biggest fighting games that are out there, a part of this event. I think they absolutely would. However, I think in a future situation where there's a live tournament happening again, and then suddenly Nintendo finds out, oh, wait a minute, the executives of your tournament are essentially Sony. Sony, huh? Maybe you're going to be promoting PlayStation 5s and stuff? I don't know if Nintendo's going to be cool with that. I think Sony/EVO would be super cool with it. I think EVO guys especially would be fine with it. But maybe in a future situation, Nintendo's already been very not so forthcoming in regards to how they approach Smash and its accessibility in a tournament structure. I hope that's not the case, man. I hope that let's just let that shit rock. The fact that they immediately are like, we're not giving you any answers right now is a bit like, they're not giving any answers right now. The hell? This really seems like a deal to address EVO's backend. Its ability to market, its ability to manage players, right? Its ability to conduct and produce the event. Like, EVO is so much more than just the stream that you watch at home. Like, EVO's so much more than just the actual individual tournament that happens, that gets you to a top 8, that gets you to a grand finals. There is so much involved in a scale of EVO-sized tournament. I know because I've personally been next to people that are on the fucking front lines as they have to deal with it, and over the years I've tried to do my best to try to help them out in whatever way I can. Not to mention that I've practically been officially part of EVO since 2012, where we have done a panel almost at every single one for all these years. So we've kind of been like closely associated. EVO's helped me out a lot by helping us expand and get to know more fighting game players, and the same thing vice versa, where new people that are into fighting games go to EVO to show up for our panels and events and tournaments and shit like that. So that's fucking amazing. Like, it's honestly one of the coolest things that's ever happened, is to be so closely associated and involved in EVO for all these years. My biggest hope is that this is not a limitation that comes as a result of Sony's executive decision-making that will manipulate other companies' involvement. Suddenly, Nintendo is just like, no, absolutely not. For example, let's imagine a future where Marvel vs. Capcom 7, where the fuck is my guy? Marvel vs. Capcom 7 is Nintendo Switch Universe exclusive. It's only on the Nintendo Switch universe. Nintendo's not cool with that being at EVO, you know? Weird shit like that. How cool is Nintendo with side tournaments? Is having Smash Melee side tournaments gonna be okay in a future EVO situation? I think these might even be a lot of questions that maybe some of the EVO guys don't know because the situation just hasn't come up yet, you know? The biggest concern specifically is actually this, right? Is as I was predicting, Nintendo's inherent response to this. I'm sure the EVO guys would be completely cool with Nintendo games and Microsoft games and Dreamcast games and everything of the like showing up at an EVO tournament of some kind. I think it now boils down to, with Sony's official involvement, how okay is the other companies going to be with it? I think that's going to be, like I said, the big concern going forward with EVO, and the big concern even from, I don't even know if the guys that are going to be coordinating EVO in the future know the answer to this, because there's pretty good chance Smash Brothers is not going to be involved in this shit. Pretty good chance that Smash Brothers is not going to be specifically involved in anything that is an offline event anytime soon. I don't know, right? I don't know. Reaction to what Harada said? What the hell's Harada saying? Oh God! PlayStation buys EVO Fighting Game Championship Series, announces 21 event dates. Nintendo comments, Harada-san, this is kind of worrying. Harada-san in response, I know everything and I knew it. Okay, it's a rough translation. I knew that it was happening and probably a part of it. We at the Japan Fighting Game Makers Association, that's the JFGMA, demands that this event be open and fair at all times, and above all, we, the JFGMA, are the source of fighting games, so I'm not worried at all. Thank you for that tweet. That cleared up a lot. That cleared up so much. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it, how much that cleared up all the questions I had in regards to what's going on. I have no idea what that means.